Hi, parents, guardians, and students. Our Number Sense enumeration webpage has plenty of tools to help your child understand multiplication and division. My first suggestion, though, is to spend some time reviewing some of our addition strategies and subtraction strategies prior to embarking on understanding multiplication and division. Why? Well, multiplication is, in fact, repeated addition of the same number, and division happens to be repeated subtraction of the same number. Let's quickly look at some strategies related to solving multiplication questions. Well, we can replace the multiplication symbol with the word groups of to better understand how this is related to addition of the same number over and over again. Let's take 4 times 5, or replace the multiplication symbol with the word, or I should say phrase, groups of. 4 groups of 5. So let's create 4 groups. In this case here, they happen to be 4 plates. And since it's 4 groups of 5, let's suppose that we put 5 muffins on each group, or on each plate. We can now visually see that we're adding 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 4 times, which will bring us to the product 20. This link over here can be utilized to help with that repeated addition of the same number over and over again, or 5 plus 5 plus 5. Clicking on it will bring up what's known as our splat square, or our hundreds chart. So we could go 5 plus 5 more, plus 5 more, plus 5 more, and you'll see over here that we now have a product of 20. Another approach is to replace the multiplication symbol with the phrase rows of. So instead of 2 times 4, perhaps think of things as being 2 rows of 4. If one takes a look at this Lego piece, you'll see that there is 1 row with 4 circles or dots, and a second row with 4 circles or dots. And by adding up those dots, we arrive at a product of 8. You can click on this link to create an array, or a Lego piece, if you will, to help solve a multiplication problem. So let's take that example of 2 rows of 4. Let's use our little sliding tool over here and create 2 rows and have 4 in each row. So in this first row, you'll notice that there are 4 blocks. In the second row over here are 4 blocks. We can count the blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and recognize that 2 times 4, or 2 rows of 4, brings us to a product of 8. You'll recall that your child has had some time earlier this year to review the videos within this multiplication section when we were doing skip counting. There's some really rather straightforward, ingenious, if you will, tips, strategies that one can review to arrive at products in a much faster manner. And over time, by practicing some of these methods like the tic-tac-toe method, one can build up their automaticity and accuracy and arrive at instantaneous products in multiplication questions. Let's look at division now. Division is simply repeated subtraction of the same number over and over again. Let's take the following example, 45 divided by 5. Well, let's imagine that this dividend is chocolate bars. So there I have 45 chocolate bars and I want to divide it amongst 5 people, 5 of my best friends. And I want to do so fairly, so that there are no remainders, there's nothing left over. Well, if we take this dividend and we subtract it by the divisor, so we're repeatedly subtracting 5, until we have no chocolate bars left, you'll see that there are in fact 9 steps of subtraction until we arrive at the quotient of 9. So what we're saying here is that each person, each one of my 5 best friends, will each receive 9 chocolate bars of my 45 that I have started off with in total. Here's a quick little anchor chart at some other ways of solving division questions. You'll see that we have already illustrated in this video repeatedly subtracting and counting how many steps until we arrive at 0. Oftentimes kids may prefer to utilize manipulatives. You may want to have 45 counters out in front of a child and divide them into 5 groups or 5 rows. A child may want to think of division as being the inverse of multiplication. So what number, when multiplied by 5, would arrive at a product of 45? Once again, I have a series of videos here that represent some of these different ways of solving division questions involving arrays or manipulatives, repeated subtraction. And over here, I have a little video that walks students through the acronym DMSB, or Dead Mice Smell Bad, to help facilitate long division or division, multiplication, subtraction, and bringing a number down and repeating the process. When it comes time to fractional work, one may want to draw the analogy of having a bone fracture, that we have a whole bone. Perhaps we were hit by a baseball, creating a little bit of a fracture, a little piece, a little small portion of a hole has broken off. Perhaps your child has had a fracture before and required a cast or some medical attention in that regard. So drawing that analogy to their attention can help better facilitate their understanding of fractions simply being division of a whole as opposed to a division of multiple wholes amongst various groups or people. Thanks for listening. I hope my website serves you well, and certainly check out some of these tutorial videos available on my site, as I just mentioned.